we live together? Everybody wants to live together. Why can't we live together?
Hello, all you melanated beauties, sun-kissed by God's lips. This is Coy with your black tea sip. I'm sipping power to pour you the truth. Go grab your cup. Let's give it up.
All right. Happy Friday to everyone out there in Black Radio Land. I'm super excited about Father's Day. You know, Happy Father's Day to all the fathers, the super uncles, the super stepdads, to the men that have just stepped up. You know, that may not be your biological child, but you grew them in your heart. We want to say Happy Father's Day to you. I have a cousin who has been involved with Big Brothers, the organization Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and he has been with a young man from elementary school all the way now, and he is now in college. So that's a step up kind of brother. My cousin, I want to wish a very special Father's Day to my father, who is super dad. He is a father amongst men. And my brothers, who many of them raise their children, where the children live with them. You know, there's some men out there that are handling their business. We want to say Happy Father's Day, and I want to say Happy Father's Day to my boo, who is a great dad. And you got somebody you want to say Happy Father's Day to?
Happy Father's Day to my dad, who is a great dad. I love you, Dad. He is my first love, because that was the first man.
Amen.
You know,
Amen.
So I just want to say you're the best in the whole wide world. And Happy Father's Day to all my friends who are fathers, and to my friends who are fathers to the fatherless. Amen.
Amen. All right. So we have a little church there. So it's Father's Day and it's Juneteenth. So the colonizers are out here making money, and some of y'all want to know why we're upset. Well, I can tell you. We are upset because the colonizers are making money once again on our pain, on our trauma, on our inability to capitalize on it ourselves. So, I mean, yeah, there's that. I had a very interesting conversation with a friend of mine who was like, well, why not let them sell it? I mean, what's the big deal? Well, I'm so glad you asked. The reason that we want Walmart to pull that mess off the shelves and out of the freezer, they had the nerve to have some Juneteenth ice cream. Juneteenth ice cream. Let me say something. I mean, we eat ice cream all year round. We eat ice cream when it's December. We're not waiting on Juneteenth. I didn't even understand that.
Well, and then another thing is, so diversity and inclusion in management and in executive positions is very critical, because who
thought that was a good idea? Right.
Like, who black did you talk to and they said, this is excellent. The world is going to love it.
The world did not. The world did not.
I mean, it was crickets. Like, now you have been shamed because you had a bright idea that was the darkest situation ever. Like,
ever.
It fell so flat. It was,
well, here's what gets me.
Who ate the ice cream when they pulled it off the shelf?
And they had a nerve to wrap it in kente cloth. I said, ooh, the disrespect.
I was.
So let me say why this is a problem for those of you who are saying, what's the big deal? Because, we're not one-dimensional, and many of you support colonization because you've been, what's a good word to use? You have been manipulated, bamboozled, hoodwinked, and Plymouth Rock fell on you. So here's the thing. Walmart is going to make money off of that. Whoever this brand was is going to make money off of it. You are not going to make a dime, and I guarantee you wasn't as good as Bluebell.
And a portion of the proceeds does not go
to any HBCU. It doesn't go to any nonprofits. It doesn't, exactly, Lola. It doesn't do any of that. So I want to dispel the rumors. I want to talk today about black men, black masculinity, positive masculinity, black fatherhood, and I want to talk about black women who date black fathers. And why are y'all trying to encroach on this man's relationship with his child? And then you say, well, you know, he must be seeing somebody else. No, ma'am, he's not seeing somebody else. He's actually trying to navigate black fatherhood while dating you, and you're out here acting like a psycho. We're going to talk about it today. We're also going to talk about Watergate and January 6th. And the correlation between the two. You know, we got some black folks out here that want to be Republicans. Well, because Abraham Lincoln was a Republican. Well, you used to poop on yourself too, and I hope you don't do that anymore. I'm gonna take a quick break. This is Call with the Black Tea Sip. I'm talking about relationships today because y'all seem to want to hear that, and you want to hear it. Here it go. Lola's Love Life is also coming, so stay with us. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. This is Coy. We're on Instagram today. I forgot to say that. Hi, Instagram. Y'all have shown us so much love, so many new followers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mwah. This is Coy. In a minute.
Do you want to find a stable job in a growing field? IT jobs such as network systems administrators, cybersecurity, programming, cloud, and computer systems analysts are expected to increase 25% by 2022. Texas Premier Technology Institute offers training for top certifications such as CompTIA, Cisco, and Microsoft in less than 12 weeks. And if you're unemployed or underemployed, you may qualify for free tuition. Contact TPTI at 1-888-490-TPTI or check them out on the web at tpti.us.
All right, and we're back. This is Coy with the Black Tea Sip and Lola of Lola's Love Life. We are talking about relationships today because y'all seem to really be responding to my opinions. These are opinions. They're really facts, but I dress them up as opinions about dating. So here we go. What we have been told, because I think we've been given a load of horse crap about fatherhood and about black fatherhood in particular. And it's all, you know, it's lies, gossip, innuendo, stereotypes. And so we know that that stuff is not true. Well, I want to talk about the fact that what you've been hearing is it's more black men in prison than it is in college. Lies. So, you know, that also frames your dating, how you feel about the black men that you come in contact with. And y'all keep telling me there are no black men out here. Yes, there are. Well, how come I'm meeting them? I'm not even trying to meet them. I'm not even trying to meet them. I'm not even trying to meet them. They are. So, listen. So they're saying that the average age of the 21 million black men that are out here, the average age is 32 and a half. Okay, and of that 32 and a half, there are 36.9 million of them in the United States. So you got 48% black men, okay? Out of all males, you've got 49% of males. So there's 48% black men out there. And many of them are looking for love. Now, some of y'all looking for love in all the wrong places. Look here, brother, you ain't gonna find in a strip club. She just out here trying to make her money. She out here on the hustle. Okay, 50% of all black men attend college. They have some college. 50%. So let's stop talking about that we're uneducated, that we don't have. 19% of that 50 are have a bachelor's degree and or higher education. For those of you that, you know, y'all into that. So, you know, when we start talking about what's out there for you to date, I want y'all to stop saying that there are no black men. And the reason I'm telling you to stop saying that is because what you put out in the universe is what you get back. So if you are steadily opining about the fact that there are no good men and no black men, then you're not going to find a good black man because you have blocked yourself from your blessings in a sense. So I want you to stop saying that. I want you to stop saying that you can't find anybody.
Well, and I mean,
yes,
I think that you're right. There are good black men out there, and I think we say that to justify why we date out the race or whatever the case may be. Now, whoever you want to date, that's on you.
That's your business.
And what's your preference is on you as well, but you cannot, don't justify it by tearing another group of men down, is basically what you're saying, right?
I am saying that. I'm saying just that. Stop saying that. If you want to find a black man and you are interested in having a relationship, you have to stop saying that there are no black men out there. I mean, so basically what you're saying to yourself is, I'm looking for something that I already know doesn't exist. So you're looking for a unicorn. And then black women are steadily dating black men all the time. So you the only one.
Black. Yeah, I mean, so my mama found me. So it's they're black love. Black love is real.
Black love is real.
Black love is real.
So I think really and truly where we are in this thing is just how to navigate relationships and dating. And I want to talk about that because it's Father's Day and you have a lot of black men that are fathers. That are today on CBS Morning, Nate Burleson, who I'm trying my best to like. It's something about it was just a little cringy, but I'm trying to work through it because I want to like Nate. I want to. Good black man, good black father, good black husband, but just a little
different. Is it the way he talks?
I don't know what it is. It's just a little cringy sometimes. I'm like, ugh, but I'm trying. I'm pushing through. So he, Imani, what's his last name? Schubert, the NBA player. He was talking about fatherhood to the point where it made me, I just felt joy. I just felt black joy in the moment because he said fatherhood is just, it's magical. He has 2 little girls, and he was just talking about that. And I thought about my husband when both of my children were born, his gratitude. He was just like, thank you. He just kept saying thank you to the point where he put a smile on the doctor's face and the nurses' faces because it is something magical about these black men who are loving the experience of fatherhood, and it is not easy. But when you are a divorced black man, or you're no longer with the mother of your child as a black man, and you are entering the dating streets and trying to navigate the waters of love, it can be a little taxing. So I want to give black women some tips because y'all be out here wilding in these streets. I had a few friends that were really, they were struggling with dating a man who was recently divorced, or let's just say broken up, and wanted to be more present in his life. And so you'll find black men that'll say, well, I can't this weekend because I have my kids, right? They'll say, I can't do it, I have my kids. And so I've had friends who have kind of felt some kind of way. So let me say this, I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna reach back, not reach, I'm gonna reach back and say, I told y'all that you need to stop putting all your eggs in one basket. I gave y'all the 5. This is when you call one of the 5, Mr. Showtime or your floater or your Netflix and Smile dude, your Snuggle Bunny. That's when you call him because he's not available because he's got his kids. You ought to have someone to occupy your time if that's what you're looking for on kid weekend. Some men do a 5-5-2-2, which means he has kids for 5 days, and then they alternate over the weekend, and then she has them 5 days. Some men do it every other weekend, and then some men just, whenever she'll let him have them, and so that's what he's into. So you're going to have to learn how to be accepting of that if that's the man you want to date. But more importantly, stop encroaching on his relationship with his child. Stop trying to wiggle your way in there. Because this goes back to having organic relationships. That is what this is about. Organic relationships develop over time. It's not going to happen overnight. Let me say this to the brothers. If she wants you to meet her child in the first 60 days, then she papa shopping. She's out here papa shopping. And she is looking for somebody to come and fill the father's shoes. In 60 days, that's not who you want to date, right? Because she's looking for an immediate bond with that child. That's not happening. That is not happening. And if she's out here papa shopping, then you know what? You have to ask yourself, do you want to be a papa within 60 days?
I mean, because some guys...
It take longer to grow a baby.
Some guys are into that. I haven't dated one, thankfully, but... I do know some guys that they're immediately drawn to the kid, and I really kind of feel like the kid is what keeps them in this relationship.
Sometimes
they have they have little to no interest in the the woman or the
Well,
mom.
no, but I don't know that he has little to no interest.
Well, yeah. I mean, the interest is the fact that she's a mom, right? But but there's nothing outside of that. They don't have anything else really in common. But because they are drawn to the kid and are attached to the kid, sometimes you stay in situations that you shouldn't be in.
Well, and I think that's true for any relationship. Right. I mean, I think any relationship you're going to. You're actually going to say, okay, well, I don't want to disrupt the nucleus of what we have, and we'll talk about that at some point. But today I just want to talk about how to date black fathers. It's Father's Day. Y'all say, well, why you not talking about how to date black mothers? Because it ain't Mother's Day, and I didn't do it on Mother's Day. So that's why.
And men are important because, I mean, for the most part, I think everyone, has interest or has had interest in some man at some point in time. I'm thinking that, but I may be wrong.
Well, I mean, black men it's a beautiful thing. They come in all shapes and sizes and flavors. And, black men are beautiful.
They're magical.
They're magical, and they're not unicorns. We're gonna take a quick break. This is Call with the Black Tea Sip. Stay tuned because I am going to help you navigate black fatherhood and dating. This is Call with the Black Tea Sip. In a minute.
Nourished skin is healthy skin. Simply Ardor skincare products provides luxurious nourishment for your body. Indulge in rich scrubs and body butters and top it off with our sensational and unique aromatic lines of sprays and roll-on fragrances. It's simple and lovely. Simply Ardor. Love is real. Just spread it.
What's up, Sir Charles?
Time Bud, what's happening with it, baby?
Say, man, I messed up, man.
What you do, man?
I think my baby done left me, man.
Oh, Lord.
I don't think she gonna take me back. You know that old saying, they say you never miss your water till your well run dry.
Trust me, I've been there, done that.
Man, I never thought that'd happen to me. I was wrong. For hurting you, baby, for hurting you. Yeah, I was so wrong, for breaking your heart in two, All you did was try to love me, baby, love me, but I was out acting a fool. So I'm asking you to please forgive me, baby. Forgive me, 'cause I'm so afraid of losing you. My daddy used to tell me, son, you never miss your water. Yeah, until your well run dry. I never meant to hurt you, baby. Never meant to hurt you. No, I never meant to make you cry. I never meant to make you cry. You never miss your water. Oh no, babe. Until your well run dry. Until your well run dry. I never meant to hurt you, baby. Oh no, I never meant to make you cry. Come on, search hard, sing this song. I was looking for love. Yes, so
All right, and we're back. This is Corey with the Black Tea Sip. If you're just joining us, listen, I messed up. I didn't know what I was doing. So we are live on IG now. I said that earlier. I was wrong. So we are talking about black fatherhood, a celebration of black masculinity, positive black masculinity, because you always want to hear toxic masculinity. No. That's not necessarily true. And black men are out there for black women to date. And so we want to talk about how to navigate dating a black man who is also a father. And I feel like black women are trying to sometimes, not all black women, because y'all gonna jump on me, but sometimes my friend group, I've had several friends that they try to rush that process. And I'm thinking to myself, you probably don't want to do that. You want to allow the relationship to develop organically. And I think there is, listen, I got a couple of run for the hills. I think you ought to run for the hills when a black man says, he wants to meet your children, and you less than 90 days. I don't think you ought to do that. I think he's family shopping. That's what that is. Some women out here papa shopping, some men out here mama shopping. He's family shopping. He just want to pour water on it like Stay Puft Quickie Rice, and poof, it's ready to go. That's not how this thing works. So you want to make sure that you are learning him before you introduce him to your children, and you don't want to necessarily be introduced to his children. And so when he is saying, I have to spend the time with my kids, and here's another thing y'all need to stop doing. Now let me say this. I'm gonna say this for the people in the cheap seats. If he's inviting you over to, in the words of my neighbor, Miss D, keep company.
Oh, wow.
Good, that tickled me. She said her husband woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning because he wanted to keep company. She said, I didn't feel like having company.
Oh my God.
So if he's trying to keep company, and he has you come over when his child goes to sleep, and then you got to leave before the child wake up, I hope he left you some money on the dresser. I'm just saying, it's just not quite right. It's just not quite right. It's not quite right. And so if this is the guy that you're involved with, you can make that decision if that's what you want to do. But understand that you are not creating an environment for a relationship just because you went over there and kept company from, 11 o'clock till 5:30.
If you all are just dating, like we're in the 90s days, and he calls you, his kid is asleep,
right. and he's like, "Come, why don't you slide through?"
Yeah,
because he want to slide.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And then you have to be up before the rooster crows.
Well, yeah, you got to be out of there by 5:30 because baby typically wake up 6:30. Because little kids wake up on Saturday morning.
Yeah,
like it's time to go to school. They don't wake up when it's time to go to school, but they do wake up on early in the morning.
So you're saying that is a sign that this is not a serious relationship?
Well, I'm not saying it's not. What I'm saying is you have all the power to navigate that. So if he's with his child and he is spending his time with his child, which I think is commendable, and he is saying, well, why don't you slide through about 10:30, I'm gonna put him to sleep, and y'all still learning each other, let that pass. Say, well, no, let me just catch up with you later, in the week. Because, the baby going home on Sunday, why you just can't go over there Monday evening? I mean, and then y'all have from 6 o'clock till 6 o'clock, get you a whole 12 hours out of it instead of 5 or 6. That is what I'm saying.
So even if he really wants to see you, and...
Well, absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Okay, and I'm here for it. I agree.
I mean, now if you just need to get your rocks off, and that's what this is.
But that's the 5 guy. Or the 5
so I'm saying, why don't you call one of the other 5? One of the other 4? Just, you don't have to be alone. But I think you need to really watch what your expectations are, because the more you're in the house with that child sleeping in the other room, then you start to question why you can't be there in the morning when the baby wake up, because he's still trying to navigate. And so what you find yourself doing is finding yourself in a place of resentment, but you are allowing it to happen. You don't have to allow that to happen. Like you can say no. It's all right to say no. And I think that it's really important that you also set boundaries. Yeah. So if you are dating a black father who is handling his business and doing all the things that you admire, then you set the boundaries of what you will and will not accept. You don't have to say okay just because he called. Let me say this, black women. I'm gonna get in trouble. Somebody's gonna get mad. You ain't gotta answer that phone every time it rings. This is a coyism I'm gonna give y'all. You do not have to answer the phone just because it rings.
Isn't that playing games?
Well, I mean, Shakespeare, well, really not Shakespeare, it was the black woman that wrote for Shakespeare because she couldn't get her play done, so she had to use him. Shakespeare was really illiterate. He said, I said this last week, the world is a stage and we are all merely actors. So, I think when you are growing, I'm not saying send your representative. I am not saying that. But I'm saying you don't need to be so accessible all the time where he can check the box of where you are, when you are, because y'all are still dating. You're not in a relationship. And I don't think that you ought to give somebody something that they're undeserving of. Many women, well, and some men, I'm not going to just lay it all on women, so y'all are out here fulfilling the job description when you haven't even really filled out an application. Your application has not been approved. You have not been hired for the job, yet you are fulfilling all of the descriptions of the job. I don't think you should do that if you are trying to date this black man, this black father. I really think it is important to set boundaries. And I think whether you are dating a black father, you're looking to get married, you want to have a family, you need to not be so accessible all the time, because there's no need for the chase. Now, there are men should be hunters. Now, some of them are gatherers, child, and some of them are hunter-gatherers. But a man should be on the hunt. He should be chasing you in some sense. Now, there are some women that are hunters. And so, brothers, we're gonna talk about that in a minute, the women that are hunters and how you navigate that. But if you are dating a black man that's a father, you know, when you make suggestions, when he says his daughter's birthday is coming up or his son's birthday, you can offer some suggestions, the nephew or whatever. Those are things that you can do to show interest, but you don't need to be, you know, I know I have a friend whose sister is dating this guy. She has not met the daughter, and they've been dating about, I don't know, maybe about 2 months. But she'll buy the daughter stuff. Well, why are you doing that? You never even met this child. So that seems odd.
Okay, so they've been dating for 2 months, and she'll be at Target and say, "Oh, this is a cute dress. Let me buy this for the girl."
Right.
Yeah.
They were going on vacation, so she decided she would buy some things so he didn't have to. I said, "Well, did he give you the money to buy it?"
Yeah,
You doing too much. Now
But-
you know, women are nurturers. You want to be kind. You want to show interest. That's not how you do it. Ask how the little heifer is doing and move on. I mean, you don't need to participate in that way because he has not invited you in to that space. And then you start to have feelings about why you can't meet her, because it's not time. That's why. It's not your time. It's not. That's his child. That is his child. And I think, literally, I have been dating the same man for almost 4 years. Now, my children know exactly who he is. They know exactly what he is to me. They know what I am to him. He has shown up at the house and done things. He might come by and, like one day my baby came in and he was like, he's outside because the lights in the back were out. We had a puppy and he didn't like the fact that my son was outside with the puppy with a flashlight. I just kept forgetting to get to call somebody and light. So he came over unannounced and was there to fix the light. So, but I have never in 4 years suggested that we go somewhere together as a foursome because I'm not papa shopping. They have a daddy. He is actively in their life. Now, he get on my nerves, but he is actively in their lives. I'm not out here papa shopping. We have never had any dealings. We haven't gone to Six Flags. He's got a pool. I've never asked my children to come over there and swim in the pool. That is not his role in their lives.
Has he asked? Has he said, "Hey, do you and the kids want to come over and swim?" Or,
no, we don't do. I mean, my son graduated. He was there at the graduation. Okay. There are other things that he does attend, but my son didn't even take a picture with me at graduation, baby. He was so popular. Everybody else's mom was calling my son, "Get a picture with him, get a picture," and I didn't even get a picture. So, but he came. He gave him a pound. He's come to a couple of their games. We move on. I'm not papa shopping. There's no need for the four of us to go out and do anything. I have been with his daughter, but she's grown. She came to a happy hour I threw, I think one New Year's or Christmas or something. We were all gathered at one of my sorority sisters' house, and the two of them came. Well, why would he leave her? And one Christmas, he did come and hang out for a little while, and she stayed at home. And I think that was the first Christmas. You also have to keep in mind these kids have feelings.
Yeah.
And you have to be very careful about how they are feeling in these moments, especially if it's a divorce, because that child is used to seeing their mom and dad together. Mm-hmm. So they have to process, even grown children, they are also trying to process the separation. Everybody needs time for conditioning. Stop trying to be something to this man's child thinking that that's the way to his heart, because it puts added pressure on this black father to try to navigate and figure out how to handle that. You steady buying gifts. Well, where are the gifts coming from? What are you supposed to say? My friend bought you this. The child's like, well, who is this friend? And why she keep buying me stuff? And then you feel like you ought to get a thank you from the child. It's weird. Let him have that time to navigate the new waters that he's in and to find his new normal. Give him an opportunity to do that. He is finding his new normal. And listen, he is actually dating more than just you. You know, he's meeting somebody else for drinks. You might be number one. You might be his bottom B. But give him a chance to figure it all out. If he is telling you, I'm taking my son to, I don't know, whatever the water park is. What is it, Hurricane Harbor or something? That's a death trap and monkey pox and all kinds of stuff in the water. So if he's doing that and he's like, you know, would you like to come? Think about what that means. Because let's talk about the other thing. Let's get the elephant in the room. And I want to talk about some elephants in just a minute. The elephant in the room. Do you want to be bothered with this man's child? Honestly, is this what you're trying to do? I mean, do you really want to be bothered with the man's child?
Yeah, I've dated guys.
Some of these kids ain't kosher.
Yeah, and I will say this: dating men with children, you learn and to observe how they parent can definitely be like a huge turnoff. Like if your parenting style is that they're running the show and there is no structure, then basically I feel like that's gonna be the relationship too. Like you're gonna be the one in charge, and there's not gonna be any structure on his end as well. And then that could
and maybe he's parenting. Maybe it's guilt parenting, and guilt parenting is when they kind of let the kids get away with murder because they feel guilty about disrupting the family nucleus. Mm-hmm. Even fathers who have not been married to the mom, a lot of times the mom is filling the child's head with stuff, so then the child is do you really want to be bothered with this little heifer?
Because it can get intense, because I have a friend, she did get married to this guy, but when they got really serious and, she was around the child a lot, the mom would make gestures like, to the point where CPS had to get involved. Because
and they don't help
the little
nobody.
girl came home to her mom and was like, oh, Michelle was here, and she gave me a big hug and a big kiss. Where did she kiss you? And she was like, oh, my cheek. She was like, how did she touch you? Well, everyone knew that it was just a hug and a kiss, but she made it sound like it was as if she was probing this child
dastardly.
to make her sound like she was being molested.
Mm-hmm.
And it was humiliating because my friend had a job where you can't clean record all day, every day.
Yeah.
And so for CPS to come in, and then of course the child's behavior starts changing with her because she doesn't want to upset her mom.
Right.
And she loves her mom, and then the child is confused.
And then
so
the father
it's
has to choose.
Yeah, then the father has to choose.
And he is not choosing the mother over you, the dating woman. He is choosing his child. It becomes very complicated. Y'all need to have some real serious conversations before there are introductions made. That is what I'm saying.
But I will say with men, fathers, a lot of this stuff, I know that there's guilt parenting, now that that's a word now. I never heard, glad to be educated on that. But you have to create boundaries and check people. Like, you need to do that up front, especially if you're serious about someone. And I don't know if you still going through the back door to mess with the baby mama or the ex-wife and all of that. There needs to be some real clear boundaries that you are not playing, and so that and
you're talking about the fathers.
The fathers.
Yes,
create boundaries, because everybody ain't thinking what they thinking just off of osmosis. Like, they thinking this because it's something you done said or did.
What do you mean?
And what I mean is, like, she's crazy, she still wants to be together. Well, she could be crazy and she still wants to be together, but what are you doing that makes her think that there is a possibility for you all to be together?
Let me touch on that. I know of a court case that, and I actually know the father. I'm not gonna call his name because he doesn't deserve that, and he's newly married. But he was dating his ex-wife again. So, you know, a lot of people feel like, you know, they're always going to be there and that person's always going to be, you know, well, that has a lot to do with the dynamics of the relationship, why they broke up and how. And sometimes the mother or the father slips back to the ex. But, I mean, that's life, and that's a chance you're going to have to take. I don't want you to think that that's all of them, because I hardly even speak to my ex-husband, child. So, with that being said, you have to keep in mind that there are women who did not, or period, people who did not want the relationship to end, many times will hold out hope, especially if there's a young child involved, because the dynamics of the relationship, the nucleus has been torn apart. This particular man was dating his ex-wife, met the love of his life, and then took the ex-wife on vacation, came home, quit her, married the woman he's with now. That woman lost her mind. Now, he can say she's crazy, but he made her go crazy.
But it's a trigger.
It's a trigger. She was betrayed,
Yeah.
she was lied to, so all of these things. Well, now that child is also feeling those things. So everybody's talking about, oh, she doesn't let him see his child. Well, you know, there's some other things there. Now, do I agree with that? No. I don't think you play with children like that. I don't think that you use children as a pawn. I don't believe in that. However, there are things that happen that make these women go ticky ticky boom boom that we don't talk about. So if she's always acting a fool, I'm agreeing with Lola. I'm gonna say 8.5 times out of 10, it's something he has done or something she has done. If this man just can't seem to let go.
And don't call her crazy after you have had 3 kids by her, because she wasn't crazy. You was crazy enough to continue to have
And sometimes
children.
they were crazy, and you still had those 3 kids because some of y'all like crazy.
Yeah.
Some of y'all.
And be okay with that.
We're going to take a quick break. This is Corey with the Black Tea Sip. We'll be right back. I still want to get into Watergate. January 6th, the correlation between the two. How is that affecting black youth? I want to talk about some other things that are going on, and we got to get to Lola's love life. This is Corey with the Black Tea Sip. Like the show. Don't forget to give me a like. Thank you.
Who is thirsty? Funkle Joe here, hosting Over a Drink, broadcasting live each week, Tuesdays, 11 a.m. from Fishbowl Radio Network in Arlington, Texas. Pull up a chair, log in with Funkle Joe as we talk real life, what is said over homemade sweet tea, a glass of wine, or whiskey on the rocks. Together, we get to the bottom of the glass each day, Tuesdays, 11 a.m. Catch Over a Drink
on FishbowlRadioNetwork.com. Jump in.
Hey DFW, it's Luna and Nika, owners of Real Dallas Properties and Management, here to serve all your real estate needs. Nika, tell them what we do.
So we're a Dallas-based boutique real estate brokerage, and we're full service, which means we can help with every and any type of real estate transaction.
That's right, we got your back at every stage of life.
Whether you need an apartment, a home rental, to buying your first home, selling that home, buying investments, to even property management.
And don't forget commercial, looking for a new space for your business? We got you on that too. You can reach us on Instagram at Real Dallas Properties or shop all properties on the market at RealDallasProperties.com.
Hi, this is Diane Marion Eunice, and I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. For the past 9 years, I have worked with over 300 couples in the areas of sexual health, communication, and conflict resolution. If you are interested in rebuilding connection and intimacy with your partner, please contact me today. I can be reached at 682-201-8175, or you can email me at diane@letstalkrelationships.org, or visit my website at www.letstalkrelationships.org. And remember, you can't heal if you refuse to deal.
Attention, Kiko is hiring. You heard right, Kiko is hiring. Kiko is looking for you to fill the following positions: seamstress, machine operators, forklift drivers, loaders, packers, and baggers. 2 shifts are available. First shift Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Saturday, and 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. overtime. And second shift Monday to Friday, 4:30 p.m. to 1 a.m. Saturday, and 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. overtime. Kiko offers great medical benefits just 30 days after hire and company match 401k. Visit us at KikoHome.com and submit your resume to Cadiano@lkiko.com. You can also apply in person at 5450 West Keith Boulevard in Dallas. All interviews are conducted in person. Don't miss this great opportunity. Get hired today at Kiko.
I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job.
Tell me why. Why can't we live together? Tell me why. Why can't we live together? Everybody wants to live together. Why can't we live together?
Hello, all you melanated beauties. Sun-kissed by God's lips. This is Coy with your black tea sip. I'm sipping power to pour you the truth. Go grab your cup. Let's fill it up.
All right, and we're back. You can call into the show, 214-556-6239. We are talking about black women dating black men.
Have a caller?
And black fatherhood. We have a caller. I didn't vet the caller. Let's hope this goes right.
Oh, Lord.
Caller, are you there?
I'm there.
Can you turn up a little bit? Hey there. What's your first name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Cynthia, and I'm calling from Dallas, Troy.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, ma'am. How are you?
I'm good. You got a question or a statement?
I agree with your point. I mean, because in relationships, some people do cause people to act up. I mean, they like what your point you pointed out earlier about he was dating his ex-wife, and then he goes to take her on vacation, leading her on. That does cause it. And then sometimes people do stuff in the relationship, and they won't let go. If they ask them to forgive them, and you forgive them, but every time you have an issue, he brings it up. So I agree with you.
Well, I'm glad you called in. Thank you for that. I love to hear from the callers, and I'm so glad that you're watching the show today, because I think we have a disconnect in black love in our relationships, and which has prompted me to start doing these segments, because we're so dismissive. There's so much that we deal with in black life, in the black life experience. But, when we're navigating love, we're not acknowledging that many times there are triggers and trauma. The problem is people are taking these triggers and traumas to every relationship thereafter. That's the problem. But I don't think a man or a woman should discount what may be going on in the relationship, which is causing them to have these feelings. And when children are involved, I think you need to be really careful. Thanks so much for calling in. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching the show.
And to her point, Cynthia, a gun don't go off by itself. Somebody got to pull the trigger.
Right.
So, if someone is, crazy, or your baby mama's crazy or whatever, you have been the trigger. You have been pulling the trigger.
So we got a statement, Lola, from Valiant Thor. He said he loves black women, but he said in general today black women are just not marriage material. Well, I categorically disagree.
Oh wow!
I think listen. I'm going to say this again. What you put out is what you get back. So for the brothers that stay in the strip clubs, well, you'll get a stripper. If you don't hardly ever go anywhere, and you just decide to close yourself off, unless the lady you looking for is the UPS or the Amazon driver or the mail lady, you're not gonna meet anybody.
Well, and then I don't know what made him. How does he come to that conclusion? Yeah. What is the description of a black woman?
So here's what you see.
Yeah.
So Instagram. You got all these people on Instagram talking about how I made him spend $700 at the restaurant. Well, ma'am, why would you want him to spend $700 on poop? Because you gonna poop that out. You know, he spent $1,200 on flowers. Ma'am, he gave you a dead gift, and you are out here. And then, I had a guy tell me it ain't tricking if you got it, but why would you want him to spend $700 on a meal so that you can tell Instagram?
Well, then my next question is, what is marriage material? Because, I know some white women that are, real shady. And although they are good at presenting you their presenter, and you never know who they really are until you know all the way in. I think to have that strong of a statement, you have to determine what Black women are. And yes, there are women out there saying what their man is buying them and where he's taking them and all that.
And that is more prevalent than anything.
But back to you, it's the audience too, because I have a lot of followers, but I don't really see that on my timeline when it comes to my friends who are single. But that is because of the audience, where you are going, what who you are engaging with. To say that we're generally speaking that we're all
Come
in
to
this
everybody
kind of
in
way,
one group.
That's crazy to me.
I think that there is a bit of a disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Black men are finding themselves wanting to have, really solid relationships and families, but it can be disheartening because we are too prone to social media, and that's why I said stop telling all your business on social media. When a Black man is thinking about the kind of woman that he wants to date, but all he's inundated with is this social media presence, when she's out here talking about I'm going to get the bag, or even the women that say I don't have time for that, I don't have time for you to waste my time, and blah, 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 then what you're saying is you are assuming that all men are going to waste your time. And I think that's a little unfair and a little unkind. And I think that as women, everybody's showing off. Everybody's showing off. We're on vacation. I just got a new bag. I had a friend
but other cultures are doing that. It's not just
but that's
Black
not
women.
but that's not my ministry. Okay. So I'm not honing in to disparage Black women. I am a Black woman.
Right.
Clearly. So I'm not disparaging Black women, but I'm saying if as a black man, what he's seeing, we got the women who got all their tail out, now they top out. Kim Kardashian and Lizzo have done y'all a huge disservice. Cover up. If you model slim or if you big thicky, you put some clothes on. If you're out here talking about you're a boss chick and you're a woman, then probably what follows that is I don't need a man. So it can be disheartening for a Black man who is actually looking for someone. I think less is more. You don't have to tell all your business on social media. I think that if you understand what dating is all about, and dating is to get to know someone, and you can get to know several someones at one time. That is possible. You don't have to sleep with all of these people. The relationships are going to be different with these people as you go. But I do think that sometimes, just as Black women are disheartened by who they're coming in contact with because of what they see on social media, what is presented by Black men, I think Black men are also disheartened. I don't think that you should group everybody together, but to your point, Lola, but I do think it can be disheartening for a Black man who really wants to find love.
To your point, I went out with a guy from online dating, and he was asking me how was the online dating going for me, and it's been good. I've met a lot of nice guys. I've met up with a lot of nice guys. Nothing has really clicked yet, but I'm getting to know a few good men. And so it was really interesting that my experience was completely different than his. He was like, well, you're the first woman that I've met online that wasn't asking me about, how much money I made or, what I did for a living. And I said, well, it's in your profile that you're an engineer, so somebody's cutting you a check. Like I read your profile. So, and he just really had a negative.
But you know where that comes from? It comes from the girl saying she wants somebody 6'2" and 6 figures. And I've said before, honey, understand, if you got a man at 6 figures and he got kids, he got $34,000. The other 2 kids got 33.
I have a shallow preference, but my shallow preference is not what I measure a guy off of. It's a preference. If they have it, great. If they don't, I still want to get to know you, right? And so, but what was shocking is that he had such a negative tone about online dating, and I was asking him, like, because it asks you, what is your type, what do you like, all this stuff, and the
online thing, the thing where I swipe left, right, up, down, and mess you up.
So it asks you, and so when you give detail on what your interest is, and then it asks you what you're interested in, what would you like your your person to be interested in, you add all of that. So if you are getting some things back that you don't want, you really have to question if you are actually, clear on what you want, and have you been clear on that? Because if you're getting, the hot girl or whatever the case may be, or the stripper,
the gold digger girl,
or the gold digger, that probably has a lot to do with the fact that you keep posting your Mercedes, and that you just bought another house, and you're opening up your third bank account. Like, those are the things that you are wanting people to know about you first. And those things will attract those who want to be part of what you're attracting first. So I feel like, it's a balance,
Well, I think I have Valenthor on YouTube. We're on IG, we're on Twitch, we're on Twitter, we're
everywhere.
Yeah, we're everywhere
worldwide.
We are now, because I've been forced to use technology. But Valenthor says, okay, I'm gonna leave that part out because somebody's gonna be trying to find him. But he does have a disposable income. He doesn't have debt. He's in good health. He doesn't have kids. He said, "What is missing from my life?" And so he said he'd just like to have beautiful girlfriends. Well, now you done put that out there. So.
Well, and so you're beautiful. That in itself, okay. So she's beautiful, and she can't talk. So she's not exposed. That's your experience. It's like me saying I want a fine man with 6'2", 6 figures. Well,
I keep telling y'all this 6-figure thing. You just say you want him to be financially independent.
Well, what I'm saying about that is 6 figures doesn't mean he has a degree. You can make 6 figures, drilling
Is that important though?
But so don't come back and say, he doesn't even have a degree. Well, he got 6 figures.
So he met your requirement. He met your requirement. I think that's true. I think that is true. And so do you want her to be beautiful? He said, I would rather have many beautiful girlfriends. Okay, well now you done just put it out there. So you won't know why you can't find somebody valiant Thor. You just said you'd rather have beautiful girlfriends than have that one person that you can build with. Now you done answered your own question, sir. All right, we're going to take a quick break. This is Car with the Black Tea Sip. We are going to get into this Watergate thing because I think it's important to black life to understand where we are and who Nixon really was. This is Car with the Black Tea Sip. We'll finish up relationships in just a minute. Okay.
Do you want to find a stable job in a growing field? IT jobs such as network systems administrators, cybersecurity, programming, cloud, and computer systems analysts are expected to increase 25% by 2022. Texas Premier Technology Institute offers training for top certifications such as CompTIA, Cisco, and Microsoft in less than 12 weeks. And if you're unemployed or underemployed, you may qualify for free tuition. Contact TPTI at 1-888-490-TPTI or check them out on the web at tpti.us.
All right, and we're back. This is Car with the Black Tea Sip. We are talking about how to navigate black love with black fathers. And we've kind of stretched it a little bit, but I think it is important for you to understand that your relationships need to, you know what? I keep saying, they need to grow organically. What exactly does that mean? Try to be friends. Find commonalities. Do you like the same shows? Do you know, what is your conversation built on? How does it start out? I see all the time where people are saying, he says, good morning, beautiful. Well, if by afternoon is he saying, how was your day? And then that evening he's calling you, are you really mad about the good morning, beautiful? I mean, because I've been dating the same man for 4 years. Every morning he tells me, even when he's mad, he says good morning. Because, you start like you want to finish. And we always say good night. Well, it depends on how mad we are. But, for the most part, one of us is telling the other good night. So, because here is the thing. Now, I had a friend one time that said that this was really funny to me. Ross said, she asked the guy, every morning he said good morning, and then she wouldn't hear from him anymore. I'm not talking about that dude. But she said, what number am I? And he was like, what? And she asked him what number was she in the good mornings. Is she number 5? Is she number 15?
Is it a group, like a blind copy group?
Yeah. And so he was like, oh, no. But that's how it felt, because she didn't hear from him for the rest of the day. I've had friends that tell me that they'll be texting back and forth, and then the guy just kind of goes off. I don't do a lot of texting. I will tell a guy, you must date young girls. No, I don't date young girls. I date age appropriate. Well, why you keep texting me? Because I'm grown, and grown people talk on the telephone. So I can put some earbuds on and go on about my day. Like, why are we texting like that? That is a young thing.
Yeah.
So you need to learn how to, and just say whatever it is you think. I mean, what do you have to lose? This is new. So you're not invested in the relationship in such a way where you're afraid you're not going to talk to them anymore. So if he's constantly texting and he never calls, that's a red flag. He either has someone at home, or he's really not a communicator and he's talking it in, because maybe he's having trouble with phonics. So I think that it is important for you to pay attention. And I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to end it here, because we got some other stuff to talk about. A man married like he courts. So if he is inconsistent while he's dating you, he's going to be inconsistent in what you are trying to force into a committed relationship. He's going to be inconsistent.
And I also say dating fathers, single fathers. I think it's important for us to observe how their relationship with their child, and then how he is. Because how his relationship with his child and how he provides for his child, that ultimately is how he is going to be, how you all will be in a relationship.
Right.
If he half seeing the kid, and he always and not
well, now listen, if he's half seeing his child, it may be something with the mom.
Right, I agree. But if he
and
half
vice
seeing
versa,
his kid, but like is consistently paying child support or whatever, I think those things let he still takes care of his responsibilities in spite of other people's behaviors, and that's very important.
And that's very telling. And I want to just say this, for those of you that are older, that are still looking to get behind the white picket fence with the 2.5 kids and the dog, let me just say this. If you are 35 and you meet a man that is almost 50 or 50 and he's willing to have another child, understand you're going to raise that child by himself, because most people don't take care of themselves. And so by the time that child is 20, he's 70. I'm just saying that to you. I'm just look, y'all, if you want to procreate,
you'll be a single mother.
You need to know you're going to be a single mom, because he's girl, or you can't push a stroller and a wheelchair at the same time. Let me just give y'all that.
Shout out to the fathers that are online dating that put it out very early and real clear. I have children. No, I do not want any more.
Yeah,
shout out to that, because you know what you want. It is definitely helpful.
Well, Valiant Thor left a message. I'm going to go ahead. He said, the Brookings Institute shows women initiate 86% of divorce. Let me say this. There is an old saying. I'm not saying I agree with it, but I'm going to give it to you. There's an old saying that says, men cheat because they can, women cheat because there is a need. There's something lacking. So if women are initiating 80% of the divorces, then we have to really look at, have you had a real conversation about the expectations of marriage? Because people are coming into marriage and they're coming into relationships with all kind of environmental ideas. Their mother, their grandmother, their great-grandmother were all single. She don't know how to deal with a man.
Right.
He doesn't have a relationship with his father. and he's out here parenting with no handbook, and he's trying to navigate his ex, whatever, baby mama, girlfriend, wife, and he's also trying to be, you know what, you're gonna have to do some teaching and some preaching and some coddling. And you say, well, I don't want to raise a man. Well, look, you're gonna have to teach anybody how to treat. You're gonna have to teach anybody how to treat you. You teach people how to treat you. So the idea that you're not going to do that, well, that might be why you're in a cycle of perpetual dating. And I'm going to end it here. Stop going on the second date and asking somebody what is their love language. I saw that a white woman did that on Twitter.
What is wrong with that?
You're asking this person on a second date what they need to feel whole in a relationship of love. You don't even know if you like him. You just asking questions that Steve Harvey told you to ask in that book. You want to know what his love language is. Do you know what yours is? Okay, well, what if your love language is gifts? And you say that on the second date. Well, he says, my love language is affirmations. I like to be told, attaboy, and great job and a pat on the back. And then he said, what's your love language? Well, I like gifts. He automatically has associated you with the Instagram girl who's pulling the Louis Vuitton out of the box. What y'all don't know is she got that Louis Vuitton 5 years ago, and she doesn't ever carry it because she wants it to look new. And then she does this every couple of years where she acts like she got a new Louis Vuitton, same one. So what I'm saying to you is stop doing that.
And they do ask you that question, though, on some of the apps.
On some of the apps, what is your love language?
What is your love language? Mm-hmm.
You know what a good answer is for what is your love language on an app? It develops with the person. Just write that. My love language develops with the person that I'm involved with, or I'm seeing, or I'm exclusive with, or whatever word you want to use, but it develops. Because the truth of the matter is that you are, I hope, in an evolution. And so what worked for you at 30 may not work for you at 40, but do not go around telling people your love language is gifts, because what you have not expressed in that moment is you might just like for him to, put gas in your car so that you don't have to do that. Because listen, baby, if you're not up on that love language of gas, $8,000 a gallon, get up on it. That is a beautiful sentiment when a man goes and puts gas in your car and you get in and it's
sacrifice.
Full. That is full. So and it makes you feel full in the depths of your soul. Yeah. You can feel joy. Maybe it's just you love, I don't know, Carmelo candy bars. And so when you go right by your handbag and your keys is a Carmelo candy bar. That's a gift. But that's not being expressed when you say, I like gifts for my love language. Stop doing that. This is y'all's second date. You are asking this man how to feel whole in a love ship when you don't even know if you like him for real. You already irritated because you think he chews too loud. This is Call with the Black T Sip. When we return, we're going to talk about January 6th and Watergate. In a minute.
Nourished skin is healthy skin. Simply Ardor skincare products provides luxurious nourishment for your body. Indulge in rich scrubs and body butters, and top it off with our sensational and unique aromatic lines of sprays and roll-on fragrances. It's simple and lovely. Simply Ardor. Love is real. Just spread it.
Asking me where I wanna be next to you. Baby, I'm thankful for the game that you're teaching me. I take it to heart. I want a piece of you. I wanna be yours. I wanna know what you're thinking. And when we talk, what you feel. There is a problem, babe. Don't know if it's real or not. I know what I feel. I need some more of you. You and me belong together. I don't mind showing you it's real. I feel your heart when it beat. Me and you, we on the same team. I wanna be yours. I wanna be yours. I got a smart mouth, but I want it to be yours. I got a good heart and it's beating for you. Don't have to show me it's real. I wanna be, yeah. you glowing up? You taught me the
All right,
basics.
and we're back. This is Corey with Black Tea Sip and Lola of Lola's Love Life. Since we're talking about relationships, I want to share this story out of India very briefly before we start talking about all the crazy stuff that's going on in the world with the Republicans and January 6th and Trump with the big rump. So
he does have a big.
He has a big rump.
Yeah, you know.
So I used to just call him rump instead of Trump. There is a story in India where an elephant killed a woman in India, in her village. She wasn't out in the brush somewhere. He literally so he killed the woman. He trampled her, threw her all up in the air, you know. He killed the woman. It's murder by elephant. And the elephant...
What is the sentence?
Well, let's get to that. But the elephant then, on the exact day of the funeral, came back to the place where they were attempting to bury the dead woman, the decedent, knocked her out of her coffin.
Oh, wow.
Threw her all up in the air again, trampled her until her intestines came out, and then called his homies. The elephant made the call, and all of the herd of elephants came and trampled the woman's hut, her mud hut, trampled it to smithereens, and then tore up the other villagers' homes. On the exact, what I want to know is who, the person they need to be looking for is not that elephant. Who told the elephant that woman was being buried on that day? What's wrong with the clip? Because y'all think I'm lying. This is about holding grudges. Some of y'all need to let some of this stuff go because y'all out here acting like elephants. Deltas. I'm just saying. I said it. Yep, it helps us. We got it?
Remember, it doesn't have any audio.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely structured by someone.
Can we see it? I can't see anything. Can you?
No.
I don't see it.
Oh, I see it.
Okay.
So for you all,
for those of you that are on IG, is yours running?
Yeah.
Mine's not. Okay.
Basically, the elephant.
Turn around, let me see. Okay, so you see the picture of the elephant. That's the house that the elephant story. This is the decedent, and here is the herd of elephants waiting on the call. This is a coordinated effort. So, when you see this, and later on you'll see a woman in a tree. She had to spend a night in the tree because the elephants were there, and the elephant literally stood by the woman's body for over an hour, waiting to see if the homies were gonna come get her. So listen, if you are holding a grudge, like, I don't know what in the world that woman did to that elephant, but that he absolutely got his lick back. And some of y'all are out here acting like elephants. Let it go. Just let it go. Because you can't trample to death and you don't have no friends that's going to come and participate. Just let it go. Because whatever that woman did to the elephant, he did not forget. And this is what y'all need to know. That elephant traveled 120 kilometers. I don't know how many miles that is, but it's a lot of doggone miles. That's what I'm telling you. It's a lot of doggone miles. 120 kilometers. And came back on the exact day of the funeral.
And that's a lot. You don't think like there was a person that kind of gauged this elephant to come and trample?
No, because what we know about elephants is that they are creatures of community.
Right.
And I think it's really important for during the 70s and 80s and part of the 90s, a lot of elephant babies saw their loved ones, parents and matriarchs, murdered because of poaching. And I don't know if that lady was a poacher, because they say an elephant doesn't forget, a delta, and the elephants don't forget. And so
they have good memory.
They tend to remember and react. I just want to share that with y'all, because some of y'all are out here holding decade-long grudges when you blocking your blessings. Now, this elephant had a tribe and a herd, and they were all with him, but some of y'all out here by yourselves, and you wonder why you out here by yourself. All right. Wait a minute, you know what? I want people to understand. Pull up the picture of the lady the elephant was playing. It's a 3-week-old elephant. I just want to give you an idea of why. Let me say something. My friend is organizing a trip to Thailand, and one of the things they want to do is ride an elephant. I don't think I'm gonna be doing that. I think I'm gonna watch them and see how that goes. But a lady had a 3-week elephant. Look, this elephant playing with her. This is just play. For those you can't see, turn around. The IG people can see. This elephant was just playing. That's all. The elephant was just playing, and it threw her from kingdom to come. All right, I want to talk about Watergate, because y'all are saying why Watergate, and what does that have to do with January 6th? I'm glad you asked. January 6th, we saw an insurrection, and we saw a lot of colonizers run up on the Capitol, run in it, destroy it, said they were going to kill, hang, because you know that's a thing they do, hang Nancy Pelosi and Mike Pence, because Mike Pence did not stop them from certifying the votes, to say that President Biden was going to be, President Biden-elect was president of the United States. Now, Watergate. Let me just shed a little bit of light on this. Watergate. Nixon, Republican president, when it was time for his second term, had 5 people bug the Democratic National Convention, or the Democratic office where they do all the planning. Right. Mm-hmm. And it's not just planning for the president, it's planning for how to take seats back in the Senate and the House, the governorship, all the way down, depending on how popular a person is, it could be mayor. Okay, so and sometimes even city council if they're trying to effectuate something in a particular area, a particular city. So the National Democratic Convention or the National Democratic Office can trickle all the way down to how you get your trash picked up. Right. So when they bugged the office, they got busted. There is a show on right now called Gaslit, where Martha Mitchell, who was the wife of the Attorney General for the United States, and he had been at one time Nixon's campaign manager that actually put him in office. Now, this is what you need to know about Nixon. And this is why some black people, as screwed up as they are, will try to hold on to this Republican loyalty. Nixon actually is responsible for affirmative action. Did you know that? Mm-mm. So in order to say you have to have X amount of minorities, black people, African Americans in particular, in a particular setting for jobs, and you have to reach a quota so that we can have representation, Nixon is responsible for that. He's responsible for blacks and women getting into the workforce and fair treatment. That was his legislation. So when we start to talk about the GOP and the Republicans, it's not as cut and dry and black and white as we sometimes play it, because they're really using us as black people as pawns. Yeah, they are using us as pawns. Absolutely. They only come around when they need something. And we don't get anything from it. We don't. And so, and Lola and I both work in politics, and you know, I think I am a little jaded, and sometimes I am a little bitter because of the fact that, you know, the way we're treated. Well, that happened, you know, let me get the date, because I want to be accurate. So in 1972, there was this, they sent, you know, people out. There was a woman reporter who worked to deliver the story, CBS, she's on there now, I can't think of her name, Leslie Stahl. And she was a new reporter, and everybody kind of felt like in the beginning it really wasn't going to be that big of a deal, and they pushed her out there. Watergate had this whole deep throat, and they were telling what was happening. They were exposing Nixon. Ultimately, 18 minutes of the planning that happened in the Oval Office disappeared, and it became where people were consumed. They only had 3 channels at the time, remember? They only had 5, 8, and 11, which you were here in Dallas. So CBS, ABC, and NBC. Mm-hmm. So all that they had. So people were consumed by 80% of television watching at the time happened happened to be Watergate. So everybody was aware. And they got busted out of sheer stupidity because they taped the door. You're supposed to tape the door vertically. Some idiot taped the door horizontally, and a black man who was working security saw it one time, and when they came back, they can't never get done with all they tomfoolery and their skullduggery at one time. Now, why you couldn't bug it one time? They had to go back because they didn't do it right. And then he noticed it again, and he went to investigate. He called the police, and that is ultimately how they were exposed. Now, here are the correlations that I want to talk about. Watergate and January 6th. President Trump, at the time met with the leader of an organization called the Proud Boys. Now, the leader of the Proud Boys is a man named Enrique, and he is Hispanic. He looks Afro-Hispanic. But, you know, people come here from other places and they say, oh, it's not no good idea to be black. Let me pick me something else. Let me check the box for other. And so he is now part of this nationalist kind of movement to empower the colonizers to take over and to stop black people, Jewish people, Hispanic people from being very present in America in a way that is significant, that will affect legislation and help us as a community at large. So now that is part of their role to stop the uprising of black people and minorities. And so that's part of that whole Tops shooting when he said he wanted to stop black people, because the white supremacists believe that as black people elevate, they decrease. And so they want to stop that. Okay, now with all that being said, President Trump met in the Oval Office with the leader of the Proud Boys. That meeting has been erased the same way Nixon did. The difference between President Nixon and President Trump is that Nixon had to resign because a woman like Martha Mitchell would not be silenced. And it cost her greatly. It cost her her marriage. It cost her her daughter, but she would not be silent because she was actually mistreated and held hostage. And there was a lot of things that happened to this woman that came out later. But Martha Mitchell was like, no, they were all in on it. Even though she was a staunch Republican. We need more Martha Mitchells. I'm saying that because Liz Cheney, who is the daughter of Dick Cheney, the vampire who doesn't have a heart nor a heartbeat, who I believe is totally responsible for the war in Iraq, Iran, and Afghanistan. Y'all know I could do that, right? So she parallels Martha Mitchell in exposing what has happened. And Liz Cheney's like a dog after a bone. She is in a fight for her seat. They are coming after her with everything that they have, and Liz Cheney is steady going after Trump. Now, why is this important? You said, Cole, why are you telling us all this? I'm so glad you asked. I don't like to volunteer information. It's important because Trump is planning on running 2024.
Yeah.
Now, we've never seen a president lose and double back.
Yeah.
Trump will be the first. However, if he were to run, what they are trying to ensure is that he doesn't win. But there has been this long-standing effort within the Republican Party to decrease the votes for minorities, the African American population in particular, because black women are the backbone of the Democratic Party. Right. Black people are the ones who actually put these people in office. Right. So if we start to really vote, if we start to realize our power, shout out to Stacey Abrams, then we start to make moves. We start to sit at the table and demand and get. And you're saying, well, no, we don't. Yeah, well, yes, we do. Because money was given in Trump's administration, and because at first I said he wasn't doing it, and I retract that now. I went back. Lola corrected me. Biden is giving money to HBCUs. We're still not getting the money as the PWIs, the state PWIs, but the money is coming in, and we are able to use it. Now, what else has been done for black people? There is legislation on the books that happened with Obama to say that banks have to give so much money to black entrepreneurs, to pour into black businesses. The problem is, how do we tap into that? So we are not doing a good job, and we haven't been given the tools, but it's on the books. We just have to be better at our utilization. But I think it's also critically important for black people in particular to realize that the more of us that are in office, the more things change. I honestly don't believe that we would have gotten the lynching law as on the books as federal legislation had it not been for Kamala Harris. And y'all can say, oh, that's just because she's a soror. Well, I mean, call it whatever it is. But the truth of the matter is that Kamala is there as VP. She is an HBCU graduate. Money is pouring into the HBCUs. And we got lynching on the books. We got lynching on the books because of Warnock, who is a congressman out of Atlanta. And there were black women, WNBA, that pushed him across that finish line. So we know that black women are the backbone of the Democratic Party. Trump and the GOP also know it. So they are working steadily when they redrew the lines. Now you have places that are specifically carved out just for Republicans. But I did the research. We have places that are carved out that are specifically for Democrats too. Definitely. And we have more Democratic seats because of the redistricting than they have GOP seats, and they didn't expect us to have that. And I'm talking about per capita across the United States, not necessarily in Texas. So we are winning. They keep telling us we're losing, the same way they tell you there are no black men out there. That is not true. So when we are looking at January 6th, and we're equaling it to Watergate, there are a lot of similarities, but we have to stop Trump. Trump incites riots. We know that. If we don't do something about Trump, they're gonna be burning crosses in our front yard again. That's the truth. If we don't stop what Trump is doing now, people are saying nothing's gonna happen to him because Nixon was ultimately given a pardon by Ford. And a lot of people are upset. Ford's wife, Betty Ford of the Betty Ford Clinic, she was a junkie and an alcoholic, but she gave y'all a clinic that black people can't afford to go to.
It's in the desert.
It's in the desert, so you can dry out. So black people can't afford to go there. It's like hugely pricey. So we know that if Trump is indicted and convicted, that stops him. And so people are saying, oh, well, it doesn't matter. Nothing's going to happen because Ford gave Nixon a pardon. Well, Nixon resigned. And the GOP was ultimately embarrassed to this day. The reason that they went after Clinton for the Monica Lewinsky thing, like, getting a little head in the Oval Office is a crime. I mean, they were laughing at us in France because, to have a side piece is like the thing to do in France and Italy. They didn't even understand what we were arguing about.
They love them all.
So, that was them trying to get their lick back, the whole Clinton thing. And many of y'all bought into that, and you said, listen, what goes on between him and his wife ain't got nothing to do with you.
And my thing is, when you are going to expose someone like that, you know that you are going to be set for life because nobody's hiring you.
Well,
nobody is hiring you. You can't get a job. You are a huge distraction. You are a walking distraction.
Well, and we know that. I mean, she came out with some handbags recently,
and
like in the last few years.
She was a spokesperson for Jenny Craig. Yeah.
Well, get it like you live. So I think you need to understand from a historical perspective, this is what happened. They were trying to get their lick back, so they got Clinton. What they should have indicted Clinton on is the fact that this whole crack versus cocaine, the hard rock and the soft coke. That's what they should have been going after him for, and Joe Biden. That's what they should have been going after them for, because they disproportionately put black men and black women in prison. The reason there was no more Club Fed is because the crack epidemic raised to the threshold that got people in federal court, and so then that was over. And they decided no tennis courts, no TVs. We got to make it harder for black people because now they're going to the federal penal system, going through the federal penal system. That's what they should have been after Clinton about, not because of a cigar and getting a little, something on the, fellatio in the Oval Office. But that was them trying to get their lick back because they are still bearing the scars of Nixon and Watergate. And here we go with Trump. Those people, you know how they try to frame black people in the old black and white Tarzan movies when they're scaling the castle kind of thing? That's how them people looked going in the Capitol. They were like climbing. It was like roaches. They were everywhere. Now they're saying they have proven that Trump incited the riot that ultimately caused, and they felt empowered to do so because the Proud Boys, and I can't think of the name of the other organization, this was all planned. This coup was planned. They were supposed to storm in, hold Congress under, that's why they had weapons. They were supposed to hold them hostage, stop them from certifying the vote. Then Trump was going to come in, he was going to remain in the Oval Office, and it was going to be a coup to overthrow the government. That was the plan. What I can tell you is the rest of the world looks at American democracy and says, yes, we have that stuff all the time, and governments are overthrown. We were able to stand our ground. So when they say home of the free, land of the brave, I mean, other countries kind of look at us as
free, home of the brave.
Because they're the third standards that they don't ever, that nobody ever read. It talks about the institution of slavery and not to give it up and how it's a good thing. This is Call with the Black T said. We're gonna take a quick break and we'll be right back in a minute.
Nourished skin is healthy skin. Simply Ardor skincare products provides luxurious nourishment for your body. Indulge in rich scrubs and body butters and top it off with our sensational and unique aromatic lines of sprays and roll-on fragrances. It's simple and lovely. Simply Ardor. Love is real. Just spread it.
I've been waiting to share my love for such a long, long time. And the thought of loving you, it makes me smile. But I must be sure that this is really worth my while. Can I trust that you will always make me feel amazing? Baby, our love's contagious. We love the stages. This love we're making is fire. I take hits to go higher. Loaded up, just one kiss, I misfire. Run, I saw Cupid with a gun. We make music and use it when it comes. We didn't choose it, but prove we get it done. The mood is setting towards the sun. So baby, have a little fun.
Gorgeous, Miss Flawless, ruler of the queendom. Truly knows what it takes to help and build a kingdom. Fly as a mother, but the lady stay grounded. Her ass ain't the only thing that be well-rounded. Strength of flow, Evans, dope is Miss Huxtable. The lady that you don't mind giving your loving to. You deserve a toast. Can I have this first dance? Met 3 times, I feel it's my last. Can I be your Ozzy brother? You my sister sledge. Arousing my mental, baby, giving me head. Over your head, eyes above your breast. First order of business, praise and respect. Your grind is an art, hardly duplicated. Vivid as Van Gogh, Rembrandt can't paint it. Take me to new floors. Thank you for the elevate, pushing me higher. Thank you for the levitate.
And this is more than a dedication. Sacred love is a celebration. This is made from when you feel you can't make it. I build a safe haven, a place you can run when it's raining. I'll come when it's raining. Baby, keep a lookout for the sun. And maybe we can stay forever young and play forever until the morning. Love without wanting. So many never know where we from. But I promise if you hold on, things will get better. Be strong. You never have to go at it alone. I know that it's a lot of temptation, a lot of trouble out there. But I swear that I'll be here when you get home. So baby, take the long way. Let your light shine, let your song play. Gonna speak your mind, lemonade, go Beyonce. I love your innocence, I give the world to you one day. Wake up every morning, pray for you, then I say amazing.
Baby, our love's contagious. We love the stages. This love we're making is fire. I take hits to go higher. Loaded up, just one kiss, I misfire. Run, I saw Cupid with a gun. We make music and use it when it comes. We didn't choose it, but prove we get it done. The mood is setting towards the sun. So baby, have a little fun. I like how you make me feel like this love could be for real. You and me.
All right, we're black. We're black. Well, we are black.
We are black. We're very black. I love that I'm black.
But
I have a black father.
we are back, is what I was trying to say. you know, there is a lot that goes on in the world, and you say, okay, well, you know, how is that affecting black people? And one of the things that I love to talk about, other than dating, because y'all are now making me do these dating segments, is I really want you to be prepared for what's coming. We were just talking about before the break about Trump and being indicted federally. They are going after him in New York for lying to get money on loan applications. They are going after him in Georgia because of the whole thing where he said he needed to find something like 12,000 votes so that he could remain president. And they are also going after him from the United States of America, Congress. And so people are saying, oh no, he's not good. We just need one indictment. We need a federal indictment or we need him to be prosecuted and to have to plead out like all of his friends have. But Lola was making a point about how, and at the break, how we just need a federal indictment to stop him.
Yeah, we just need one. And it's so many of them. Pick one and stick with it. Just pick one, the one you know that can stick, and stick with it. That's it. I mean, I think that's part of what's happening now and the reason why they are going after him so aggressively, ferociously, and we're now having the public hearing. So they're trying to expose you as the public as what happened. But this was planned and orchestrated. And now Trump, in his, he doesn't deviate, he has now gone after his daughter Ivanka, who said she believed William Barr when he said Trump didn't win. Her deposition was probably her interview, I don't know if it's considered a deposition. I think it should be, but her interview was like literally 10 seconds. Did you believe him? Yes. Did you tell your dad? Yes. So we know now that Trump tried to stage a coup. I mean, you know, that's kind of where we are as far as what it is that we're trying to accomplish. And I think it's important for you to understand that and to know what's happening, because the war in Ukraine, they are saying to us that food prices are going to go up because they're not even getting grain and all the things that they need for livestock. And I showed you the video where the woman said by the fall, when they start slaughtering and rendering these animals to bring them to market, bacon is going to be $25 a pound, $25 a pound. So, you know, and my family eats bacon. I know we're not supposed to, and we try not to, but I don't know how you can eat a pancake. I don't try not to. I eat bacon. I do. I mean,
he's such a filthy, disgusting animal.
You can't do this. You can't do that. Hey.
Well,
I want to live my best life.
Well, and that lady said she lived to 107 because she ate bacon and drank whiskey in her coffee every morning.
I mean, you know. And who are we to argue with that?
Yeah, because she is 107.
She's 107. Folks dying at 40 for nothing.
And well, I don't know for nothing. Some of y'all go hard in the paint.
Running.
But I just want you to be prepared. Start buying a little extra meat. If you're a carnivore like I am, start buying a little extra meat so that you can so that you can build up your stockpile, if you will. Get you a small deep freezer if you need to, so that you're prepared. I want y'all to be prepared. I don't want y'all to be out here caught off guard.
I've been looking into gardening. You know, planting my own cucumber and stuff.
I would like to, but my yard is a mess, so I got to get somebody over there to help me, because my mother loved bamboo, and so the bamboo, baby, that bamboo is so serious. It has gone across the way and in my neighbor's yard. It's so embarrassing. So, and I think the bamboo is going to try to take us over, but that's something that I'm also interested in gardening and trying to grow my own food.
Right.
You know, because we need to be more self-sufficient. We can't depend on the government. People don't have baby food. So, I mean, and this whole thing about nursing, that happened because they decided that nursing your child, which was best for your child, depending on your health and your lifestyle, and because now we nurse their children, you know, and then you'd have milk for your own. Okay, I've reached back. But they decided that was a poor woman's thing, and because we are all about assimilation, we stopped breastfeeding, and those people that are breastfeeding are not concerned about baby formula.
And now they're like the spokeswomen, like breastfeeding, does a baby good.
Right.
Now.
Yeah. See how things come full circle? That's why I'm telling y'all, watch the hearings for January 6th. History is repeating itself. And wherever we were during Watergate as a people, be very careful that we are not pushed backwards as a people during this insurrection, because they want your help. Like, they need us on the front lines of all of these.
Herschel Walker. This is the only thing. It's like, you need us, but you get the wrong people.
That's the GOP. But that's the GOP.
Dumb. And they're okay with getting it wrong. That one thing they are is consistently getting it wrong, and they are okay with getting it wrong, because Herschel Walker could not lead me to anything.
I wouldn't let him walk my dog. I wouldn't let him walk my dog.
I wouldn't trust Herschel Walker to walk me across the street.
I think it's important to know and acknowledge that is the Republicans that pushed Herschel Walker out there. I think you should also be aware that the Democratic Party, when Beto ran last time, when Kelly Rowland said, I want to be a part of it, I want to help any way I can, it was Beto's organization, his leadership, that waited till the 11th hour to pull. They don't know what to do with us.
Well,
and we need to stop. We need to stop giving them our vote until they figure out what to do.
They
with
don't.
us.
Yeah, and the reality of the situation is they don't know what to do with us, but they don't want to be wrong. Like, they don't want to be educated. Right. They don't want to learn how to even be in our space. That's the real problem. And then, but say, hey, what you gonna do? Vote for them or vote for me? And it's like, we
Well,
survived.
that's what Trump said.
Yeah.
Trump said, I love the blacks. I mean, you couldn't do any worse than me. What has the Democratic Party done for you? That's what he said. That's basically, I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he said.
Yeah. So it's like, Janet Jackson, what have you done for me lately?
And that's where we need to be as voters. What have they actually done for us? And we need to be acknowledging what they have and have not done. Publicly.
And the next time Beto has a big old rally, and it's not in a black neighborhood, that can be a problem. Now, he come to these big cities every other weekend.
Well, he did show up last time at the PV Gremlin tailgate. And he loaded up some stuff, and he helped the alphas. And by the time it really jumped off, he was gone.
Well, he helped
them get the coal and the meat off the trailer.
He also came to Good Street, but he did. There was a lot going on there. But I'm saying, this go around, you have got to meet us where we're at. You want us.
Right. They need us.
They need us.
All right. We talked about it earlier. I want to just go back to Juneteenth. Listen, I want to take that back, and I'm gonna kind of close out here. I want Juneteenth to be our holiday.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be, I know that Opally and their CBS is doing some things, Discovery Channel is doing some things, BET is doing some things. BET is owned by Viacom. He's not owned by Bob Johnson anymore. It's not black owned, it's colonized.
It's just black folks.
It's just, and FOKE. It's been colonized. But listen, we need to be out here celebrating Juneteenth the way that we celebrate 4th of July and Memorial Day. Do not allow this holiday to fall into the hands. This is what I want to say to you all. Do not let Juneteenth turn into Freaknik. Now, those of you that are old enough to remember Freaknik, because I'm 50, if you were old enough to remember Freaknik, in the first few years, oh my God, it was glorious. It was magical. It was black people of all walks of life, ilk, shades, colors, backgrounds, college students. I remember we met some boys that came from Alaska to meet us in Atlanta, Georgia for Freaknik. And it was absolutely glorious. And then the colonizers and their Fortune 500 companies actually got wind of these black people, because if you remember Freaknik, you remember that black folks had their little tables out and they were selling their wares and people were selling hats, and it was for us, by us. It was beautiful. It was real life school days. And then Coca-Cola came, and they had a concert with Queen Latifah, and they wondered why nobody came to it, because that's not what Freaknik was. And then they started to pour in other things, and we lost the spirit of Freaknik. We lost that. It was colonized, and now kids will never know it. Capitol Beach Party was a little raunchier, but you could have fun. And then the colonizers came. Do not allow them to take Juneteenth away from us, because if nothing else, remember this, that the Emancipation Proclamation was signed in November, I believe November 4th, that's how I feel, 1863. I believe it's November 4th, y'all check me, 1863. It took, or that's when it was ratified, 1863. It took 2 years for the word to trickle. We didn't have Twitter, and it took 2 years to get the word in Texas. Now, other places, Virginia, Alabama, Louisiana, North Carolina, South Carolina, they were freed before Texans. We were the very last group. Now, I want y'all to understand why I do not want you all to let this holiday fall by the wayside, where y'all start going to Old Navy, buying kente cloth shirts where they making the money and you wearing them like an idiot. I don't want y'all to do that. Understand that the Texas plantation owners, slave masters, actually wrote to their brethren in other parts of the proverbial South, and I'm calling it the proverbial South, 'cause I don't know how North Carolina is considered the South. It's North. They reached out to their slave owner brethren in this fraternity of filth and told them to come and bring their slaves, and they would work those slaves in these Texas plantations and pay them so that they would not lose revenue. So now they have extra slaves that are being brought down from other places working in Texas 2 years, because the plan in Texas was to never give up slave ship ownership kind of thing. The whole process was to continue to go on so that they can continue to enrich themselves on the backs of blacks. It was a colonel that brought 4,600 soldiers, many of whom were black, that marched in Galveston, Texas, and told them no more. Can you imagine what those enslaved, because they were not slaves, they had been enslaved. Slave mean that they did it to themselves, in a sense, like an indentured servant, like they entered into a contract. No, these people were stolen and enslaved. They looked up and saw a black man riding a horse. In the South, a black man could not ride a horse, let alone own one. Because owning a horse was like owning a car. It was property, it was yours. It held value and wealth. So I'm not saying no black people own horses, because there were black people that owned slaves, many of which lived in Oklahoma and Richmond, Virginia, if we just want to call a spade a spade. So think about these black people while you are out here celebrating Juneteenth, that looked up and saw a black man on a horse with a gun, that told them they could leave the plantation. They no longer had to work for free in the barbaric treatment that they were undergoing and exposed to, that their children would no longer be ripped from their breast, that fathers could raise their children. I want you to understand what that means. Do not allow yourself to be caught up in this notion that Juneteenth is a holiday and we should be allowing everyone to participate in it in the same way. No, sir, no, ma'am.
We have to create our own narrative.
That's right.
In this this holiday, we have to decide how the celebration of Juneteenth will forever be. We can't put it in the hands of capitalism. We just can't.
And I think that the plan is to
and they're looking at us to see how to do this, because Walmart had it wrong, but they're looking to see how they can capitalize off our holiday.
They are. They absolutely are.
And the truth of the matter is how they determine that is by what we do and how we celebrate and how we respect.
That's right.
What has been finally given to us. And so it's important that we, recognize this, because this is the first year that this is a federal holiday. People are going to be off work. They are going, and it's not saying don't do a barbecue or whatever. There's a unity
march with Opalee in Fort Worth.
No, but I don't know about that.
She's going to walk the 2 miles to the Capitol in commemoration of the 2 years that it took them to get to us to deliver the word that blacks in Texas were free from slavery.
There's also one in the city of Dallas. I think it starts at Townview and they walk all the way to City Hall. So there's two,
and they are commemorating what it means. And now look here, it's hot. I ain't gonna say I'm gonna go out here and walk with these people. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be at an AAU basketball game because my babies play basketball. But I'm gonna wear my dashiki out there with the colonizers who watch their children play basketball. I'm going to be out there, power to the people, and I am not going to allow myself to participate listen, y'all eat all this mess through these drive-thrus. If they come out with a Juneteenth chicken burger, don't you eat that. Don't you eat a Juneteenth chicken burger with a Fanta strawberry. Don't do it. I'm just saying, do not allow them to make money on our pain. That is what I'm saying. All right, Lola, you want to end with a love life story because you've been dating.
Yes, I have. So I'm actually going on a date on Monday.
Oh, Juneteenth,
actually.
So we know it's not with a white man, but go ahead.
No, it's not at all. So he comes in. He doesn't live here. He lives in San Francisco, but he's coming here. We're gonna go on a date. We've been texting and talking.
You met him online?
I did meet him online, and so I've been having a lot of fun. I definitely, I think.
Which one is he of the 5? Okay, let me go back through the 5 real quick. It takes 5 men. When you're dating, Angelo laughing in the background. It takes 5 men to equal 1 when you're dating. Listen, you need Mr. Showtime. Mr. Showtime is the guy who takes you out. He's fun. He loves to, twirl you around. He wants everybody to see you. But, that can get boring because who got time to do that every weekend? But he is a good time. That's Mr. Showtime. You do need him periodically, especially if you're an extrovert. I'm an extrovert. So every now and then, you need a Mr. Showtime in your life if you are dating, if you're actively dating. Now, you also need Netflix and Smile, the Snuggle Bunny. He's a homebody, but he is good for a foot rub. He's got all the stuff that he puts in the bath water. He got Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, Discovery Channel, you name it. He got all the streaming shows. He's good for a movie, and he orders the takeout that you love. That is Netflix and Smile, man. You need Mr. Fix It. And if he can't fix it, he knows somebody that can. He'll find somebody that can. He's going to pay for it. Because you're going to have something to break down your car. You're going to need to put together a TV stand. That's Mr. Fix It. You do need him. And you need Mr. Moneybags. Mr. Moneybags don't have a lot of time. He blow through town every now and then, but he pay like he weigh. That is, you going to need him. And then you need a floater. When the other men are not available, he always seems to be available for you. That's 5. So which one of him is the 5?
I definitely feel like he's Mr. Showtime.
That's good, because he's not here.
Yeah, and I feel like he's Mr. Moneybag. I feel like he can be like...
So now, every now and then, you hit a trifecta, and that man has 3 of the 5 qualities I just described.
Definitely Mr. Fix It, and I'm not saying he reminds me of my dad. Like, my dad is not going to change a tire.
But he going to pay somebody.
He has made sure that we can get our tires changed. So,
and that man grows up saying, you can either be the man that can afford to get it fixed, or you can be the man to fix it. There are 2 different Mr. Fix-Its.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I think he's those 3 because he's not flashy. He is very smooth. So I'm very excited.
How old is he?
He's actually younger than me.
How much
So,
younger? You out here cougering?
He's like 33, 31, 33, between 31 and 33. I want to say 33 though.
So you say he got
33.
stamina?
Oh yeah.
Okay, Mr. So what are we gonna name him? Don't call his real name. You did that before and the boy got mad. I was like, this is not a good idea. Keep your business off of social media. But what are we gonna call him?
I don't know.
Okay, so he's Moneybags, Fix It, and Showtime. Oh, he's a trifecta.
Yeah.
We just gonna call him Try Guy.
Try Guy.
That's Try Guy. He's the trifecta.
Try.
So where are y'all going?
So we're actually going to Bob's
Steakhouse.
Yes.
Okay.
And he asked to go. He's requested that because he had a business partner that was talking about it, and that's where he wanted to go. That's fine. So we're gonna go there for dinner.
For the delicious carrot.
Yes.
They got that big caramelized carrot, the delicious carrot.
Yeah, so we're gonna go there for dinner, and then we're gonna go somewhere else for drinks. And we'll just have a good time. He's staying at like I think it's like what is it?
I don't know.
Hotel.
I don't know the man. Are you gonna tell the actual hotel? Just tell where the hotel is.
It's downtown. He's staying at the Jewel, and the reason why I said like
it's very
stuff
expensive.
like that.
The Jewel.
You know, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Now it's gonna be some girl standing out in front of the Jewel trying to find him.
Well, you know, I mean, it don't get no better than me, so that's what.
Hey, the pole dog won't wag his own tail.
I mean,
Pole
I'm
dog.
just saying, hey, you know.
Well, okay, so
you
we'll
want less for your life.
So, is he more than a 3-hour flight away?
No. Well, what is it? 2.5 hours.
Okay,
to
that's
California. Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah.
All right, this is sounding good. It's sounding
This is
promising.
really good.
It's sounding promising.
Because
Okay.
I'm open to moving now.
Well, how you gonna do the show if you move?
Hey, technology.
That ain't gonna work.
All right, we'll figure it out. Well, I mean, I may just be flying back and forth now.
Okay, because Mr. Moneybags.
I'm just saying. No,
What-
but yeah, I'm really excited.
All right, we'll do it again next week, same bat time, same bat channel. This is Card with the Black Tea Sip and Lola of Lola's Love Life. Hi. And we'll do Dating 101 and I think I'm calling it Dating 1.0 and Relationships 101. We'll do it again next week. Diamonds, Pearls, and Jerry Curls. And we're out with the Black Tea Sip.
Happy Juneteenth.